All right, so we've taken a look at some of the standard libraries. We've taken a closer look at attributes and methods. Now we're actually going to start using classes, but if we're going to use those classes, we're using someone else's code. So we have to read through the documentation. And as we briefly mentioned before, there's something called Javadocs that executes or generates that documentation for you if you follow a specific format in your comments. We're not going to get into Javadocs in a lot of detail, but we're going to be looking at the Javadocs for the classes we'll be using in this lesson. So remember, single line comments, right? We use the double forward slash. Multi-line comments, we use the special format where it's one forward slash star, and then you close it out with the star forward slash, so the reverse, right? And then Javadoc comments. We briefly mentioned this in a previous lesson. So Javadoc comments are used for documentation, especially for classes, methods, and fields. So if we're going to be using all the JDK standard libraries, well, they have Javadoc or Java documentation set up for those classes. So if we were able to learn how to read those Javadocs, then it'll be easier to use those classes. That's not the only tool we're going to use. I'll tell you realistically, I didn't always read the documentation, especially when I was first starting off. The documentation sometimes felt a little bit intimidating, but it is important, even if maybe you're relying on other websites, tutorials, right, for some of these Java basics. It's so important to understand what the Java docs are, how to read them, how to use them. So I said we'd cover these types of comments later on. Well, here we are. Let's cover these in more detail. So Javadoc, also capitalized as Javadoc, if you're using the camel case or Pascal case in this case, or you could go do all lowercase with Javadoc here. It's basically a documentation generator for the Java programming language. So when your comments follow the special Javadoc format, Javadoc will generate HTML documentation for your Java code. So Javadoc does make it easier to document your code and for others to understand how your classes work. So the Java standard libraries that we covered in this lesson, all those classes, part of those libraries, do have Javadocs available for them. So here's an example for the file class in the java.io library, a little snippet of what that Javadoc might look like. And notice it has all the methods for that class. So the name of the method, the return type, we'll talk about return. I know we briefly mentioned return in this slide. Remember that the return is the output of the method. It's what the method is returning back to you, the result. So the Javadoc will tell you everything about what that method does, the type of the return, the arguments, etc. Input and output, right, for the method. All can be found on the Javadoc. So if we go back here to our example Javadoc, you can see that this can execute method has a Boolean return type. The can read method has a Boolean return type. The can write method, Boolean return type. Funny enough, the compare to method has an int return type. We're not going to take a super deep dive on the file class just yet, but just know everything you need to know about a class method, the class attributes, the constructor. We'll talk about constructors later on when we take a deeper dive on classes. Everything is on the Javadoc. And if you write your own classes and follow the correct structure for those comments on your methods, on your attributes, this will get generated for your custom classes, your program automatically. Javadoc will do this for you. You don't have to actually make this. You just have to follow the format.